Hi everyone. Sorry, I'm gonna go for the technical checks again. My computer is still thinking, so I'm hoping that it's going to be, I'm gonna be live. It looks like I'm live, but the computer is still thinking. So if you are live, if you're watching this live, let me know if you can hear me. Looks like my microphone is working as well. If you can see me well. Welcome to day 2. I am super pleased that you are here. I can't say enough that you should be so proud of yourself, you know, for being here. I know so many people that needed to be here, people that know me and they could have pressed on join the group, but they didn't. But you did. You really joined the group because you want to forgive someone. You want to forgive yourself. You want to forgive a situation. Don't take this for granted. You have taken a massive step towards something really, really, really beneficial for your physical health, for your emotional health, for your whole life. So just really, you know, let's just breathe in and breathe out, and in gratitude and congratulate ourselves for taking this step, for being here. Let's just together just breathe in and let's just breathe out. Hope you guys enjoyed day 1. I know it was a full-on day, you know, really facing that person, that situation, you know, facing yourself, something that you are, you know, that brings you frustration, that brings you sadness, that brings you anger, that brings you sometimes rage, that brings you disgust, that brings you all of those emotions. And yesterday we faced that, and I hope that you guys really were able to allow the emotion to come up, because if you haven't, just go back to that exercise. You know, we didn't stay there for long, and remember, you know, we are doing this in a safe space. You know, you chose to do this in a safe space. Now, hopefully you are doing this in an environment where there is nobody disturbing you, where you can cry, where you can, you know, maybe scream, get a pillow and maybe scream, you know, and do something that you can really let this emotion out, you know, because it's really, really important to allow this emotion that we've been suppressing in our body, in our physical body. And sometimes, you know, this is what starts creating issues on our physical body, because we've been suppressing this so much into our physical self. So today, as I said yesterday, we're going to be talking about the person we have become as a result of whatever we've been through. You know, when I look back at my story and my you know, my life, you know, if everything had been gone smooth sailing, and if everything had gone okay in my life and great, I wouldn't have left Brazil. I would have stayed in Brazil. I wouldn't have lived in 7 different countries. I wouldn't have learned you know, French, Spanish, and you know, I learned a little bit of Dutch when I was in Belgium. I wouldn't have experienced everything that I have experienced. I wouldn't have met the people I have met. I wouldn't have ended up in Australia. I wouldn't have had cancer, maybe. You know, and when I look back and I just think, you know, I had to go through everything that I went through to become the person I became. I had to go through every single thing that was painful, that was hard, that was challenging, that just sometimes took me to the ground, you know, like, you know, cancer, and I'll always say, had me on my knees. But I am grateful for that experience, because that experience made who I am today. And if it wasn't for cancer, I wouldn't be here. I would be living an unconscious life. I would be living a life that you know, I almost, when I look back, I feel like I can even feel in my body. I would wait, you know, the waking up and doing, you know, one task after another, like a little machine. I wouldn't really stop to appreciate, you know, little moments. I wouldn't stop to be present, fully present with my family. So today we're going to talk about, you know, who did we become as a result of that? You know, what have we learned? We're going to really embrace this experience as something that it's positive. You know, we're going to look at all the positive. We're not looking for the cracks here, the negative things. You know, we probably spend enough times doing that. We're looking at the positive experiences that we've had, and the positive things that we have now and we experience now as a result of that. You know, and it's important to talk about again that forgiveness is a process. You know, yesterday we did a part of the process. We acknowledge what has happened. We face that fear, that anger, that resentment. And today we're just going to see things from, you know, different lenses and think, you know, if it wasn't because of that, I wouldn't have become the person I am today. And, you know, it's important also to say that, you know, we're doing this, we're doing our part. You know, it's going back to that trust in life and God and the universe or whatever you believe. We are here to do our part. We are here because we make the decision to forgive. This is why we are here. We decide to forgive, and we are doing the work, and we're doing our part. We're not conditioning our forgiveness. We're not saying, I am only going to forgive this person if this person says sorry to me. I'm not only going to forgive myself if I can go back to the past. You know, we can't control other people. We can't change the past. We can't go back to the past. I can see somebody's live. Can you just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me? And if you can see me well, and I hope, you know, the video is going well. So, you know, it's important to highlight that we are not here to change, to change the past. We're not here to because from now on we're going to control what's going to happen with this other person that we're trying to forgive. You know, we are here because we are just literally surrendering. We are surrendering to the fact that we're making a decision to forgive. And you know, back to the life supporting us, God supporting us, the universe, or whatever you believe. You know, I truly believe that, you know, the biggest step is being here, and you have already done that. You know, as I mentioned yesterday, you know, I had my surgery, which was an emergency surgery, and I had a month before I started chemotherapy. And I was lucky enough that awesome, thank you so much, Debbie, thank you. And I was lucky enough that my auntie from, my husband's auntie was here from the UK. And she told me, Angelica, let's find yourself a church. You know, I hadn't been going to the church for a while, even though I believe in God. You know, and I kind of said, okay, well, let's find a church. I knew that there was a church close to my house, but I had never stopped there. So we went to the service. And I remember that, you know, I was still recovering, you know, physically. I looked, you know, sick, and I looked unwell. I had a really heavy charge on myself. And at the end of the service, she said, Angelica, let's ask for the pastor to pray for you. And I have always been funny about people putting their hands on me. You know, I had an experience when I was a little girl. My grandmother, which was not a very nice person, she used to bless us and pray over us. And since then, you know, I had this feeling that I never wanted anybody to touch me, because I could, even as a kid, I could feel that, you know, she wasn't a good person. But because she was family, we kind of were allowing that to happen. And I just always felt a bit funny about people doing that. But, you know, I needed everything I could. You know, at that moment, I was so fragile mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. So I asked the pastor, you know, can you please pray for me? I am sick. And I remember sitting down in church, and he was right next to me. And I could feel my energy around me. And I could feel my energy being so heavy, so negative. I could feel my energy almost as if I wanted to get out of that. And the pastor could feel that too, because he asked me politely, can I touch your shoulders? Which I kind of thought, you know, like, yes, you know, yeah, it is fine. But I could see that I had this field of energy around me that I needed to release this. I needed to get rid of this negative charge. I needed to get really, like, change things around. And as the pastor put his hand on my shoulders, I sobbed and I sobbed and I sobbed and I cried so much. I really allowed my, it wasn't anger, it was just sadness for having hold on to this resentment for such a long time, for being in that situation, for the cancer, for everything, for the fear of dying, for everything that I was going through. And as I sobbed and as I recognized this energy around me, I made a decision. I am ready. I am ready to forgive. Even though I don't know how I am going to do this, but I need to let this go. I wanted to be well so much that I knew that part of coming back to myself again, taking charge of my health and getting well again, I needed to let this go. I couldn't hold on to this. I could feel like the energy taking away from my body, pulling this negative energy, being a weight on my shoulders, like really pressing on me as opposed to helping me. And I needed all the help that I could. I know I was still, I hadn't started chemotherapy yet. I had still to face 12 sessions of chemotherapy. How was I going to be able to do that if I didn't let that go? And I knew that I needed to do that work. Then I got a call from a friend from Brazil. We had been friends from when we were 11 years old, and we always kind of kept in touch on and off. It's hard when you just change so much and we move from place to place. But we always promised ourselves when we were little that we would be friends until we were very old. So when I got cancer, I called her and I said, I've got cancer. So she was very worried about me. She was checking up on me, and she kept, texting me and calling me. And one day she called me and I said, Angelica, I know your story. I know who you are. I know you have done. I know how much you have gone through. And, it's easy for me to sit here and say, let this go, forgive your family. You have to let this go. Think about where they are right now. They know that you are sick. All they want is to talk to you. Life is too short. That. Look where you are at right now. Just let this go. And when she told me, all of those things, and she's a person that I respect very highly. She's a person that comes from what we call a perfect family, and she knew that, she knew she was coming from this place that, I know I don't know where you are, what you've been through and what's happening right now with you, but just for 1 second, just think about it, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? Do you really want to hold on to this for the rest of your life, or do you want to let this go? Do you want to free yourself from this? And I finished that phone call with her and I started the process. After 12 years on and off of speaking to my family, on and off, I called them. It was a huge step for me. If you know anyone from South America, you have this weird dynamics in families that people are always, very united and connected and very close, but people also, they tell you what to do, and things blow off or out of proportion, and then all of a sudden you're back to together, and then everything is kind of forgotten about it. But I remember when I saw them and how happy they were, and how happy they were for having the opportunity to talk to me, for being part of my life again, for just hearing my voice and just getting to know, what was going on in my life. They were just like beside themselves. They were really, really happy. And before, we spoke for 2 hours, and before I hanged up, for the first time ever. My dad came to the phone and he said, "Please forgive me." My dad is one of the hardest person I have ever met. And I have never thought he was going to do that. When I called them, I didn't expect to hear that. I called them because I had made a decision to let that go. And even though at that moment I still didn't know how I was going to do that. And for me, things were not back to normal. I could not believe that my dad had said that to me. When I look back and I think that, when I made that decision to let that go, when my dad told me, "Please forgive me," that was God and life or the universe or whatever you believe supporting me and really having my back. Because once I made that decision, things started unfolding in a way that I never thought it would. I was speechless and I just couldn't believe that. But what I wanted to say to you today is, you might be, thinking, "That's not going to happen to me. That's never going to happen. Or the person that I need to forgive, is myself. Or the person that I need to forgive is somebody who is not even alive anymore. Or the person that I need to forgive is in prison. Or the person that I need to forgive is an alcoholic and they're not," whatever your story is. I want to tell you that, the point of the matter is not getting that the person ask you for the forgiveness and the person recognize what they've done, or the person, comes to you and tell you what you want to hear. The person changes, to the person that you want them to change. The point of the matter is that we are here to free ourselves. We are here because we made a decision that we want to forgive. We're doing this for us. We're not doing this for anybody else other than us. We're doing this because we decide to surrender. We've made that first step, that enormous step to say, "I want to forgive." And now we just surrender. Almost as if we are, we have done our part. And now when you surrender, it's like, I have done everything I could. And trust that life is going to start unfolding in a way that forgiveness will start coming. And sometimes, as in my own experience, that forgiveness didn't come like rushing at me. It was just step by step, little by little. And I still have conversations with my family that I still find forgiveness in the conversations that we have. But it wasn't until I opened my heart, it wasn't until that I decided to take charge of my own life, my own story, my own dialogue, that things didn't start happening. It wasn't until I let go of all the conditioning, going, "Well, if I do this, I hope they're going to do that." Or what about if they, why don't they change? I let go of all of that. And I kept on my path and doing my part. And you might still feel, after yesterday and after today, this is impossible. I can't do this. Your forgiveness, it might feel that it's an impossible mission in your eyes. But trust the process, trust life, trust God, trust the universe, trust whatever you believe in. That once you have made that decision, life will start almost giving you the next step, and giving you the next step, and giving you the next step. Don't wait for the person to forgive you. We are here to do our part. Don't wait for you. If you're here to forgive yourself, remember, you can't change the past. It's a decision. What are you going to do from this moment on? Are you going to keep telling you, "I shouldn't have done this, I should have done that," over and over again? Is that serving you? Is that really serving you? I could ask that question to myself every day. Why did I hold on to anger for 12 years? Did that serve me? You know, that was part of my cancer. I could still resent that. Would that serve me? I can guarantee you that it doesn't. We're doing this for us. We're doing this because we want to free ourselves, liberate ourselves from this negative energy that surrounds holding on to anger and resentment, holding on to a grudge. You know, when I spoke to my psychologist about it, you know, I said to her, you know, how can I forget? You know, how can I forget? You know, how can I forgive? And she said, look, forgive and forget, they're two different things, you know. You're not here just to dismiss what happened to you. You know, you're here to say, yes, this happened and this was not cool. This was far from ideal. I didn't want to go through that, but I did. This has happened. And this was my past. But I'm making a decision today to no longer let my past define the person who I am today. I'm making a decision today to no longer let people outside of me, my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, my grandparents, my friends, define who I am today. Because as soon as you let that happen, as soon as you're holding on to the anger and that resentment, you're carrying that story and them with you. And this is defining the person who you are each day. So we're here to change that. We're here to change this whole thread of thought. You know, we don't want to keep holding on to this. We're here because we want to let go. So today in our meditation, we're going to think about all the positives that came out of this experience. You know, like I said, if everything had gone well in Brazil, I wouldn't have left Brazil. You know, I became incredibly strong, independently. I am fiercely determined and disciplined. Everything that I set my mind to, I do it and I can accomplish. I became this person because of all the things that I went through in my life. What about you? Who have you become as a result of that? You know, I want you to think about, you know, the positive things, the good things. I don't want you to think about, you know, oh, I should have done this. This is not about any negative things. You know, let's focus on all the positives that came out of this. You know, there's a really interesting research. You know, Google did a research around their best employees. And they found that their best employees, they were not the ones that went to the best universities and they came from the, you know, wealthiest families. They were the ones who went through some trauma and pain in their life because they were resilient. So what about you? What have you learned from this experience and who you have become today? So let's meditate together. And I want you to sit comfortably. And I want you to close your eyes. And just start preparing yourself to bring all of those positive emotions and qualities and experience that you have gathered along the way as a result of your pain. And as a result of holding on to this anger and this resentment that you have been holding on to. Just breathe in through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Breathe in one more time through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. One more time, breathe in and breathe out. Slowly, I'm going to start counting backwards from 10. And I want you to imagine you're under a waterfall. And you're just feeling slowly that as the water touches your skin and your body, you are getting more and more relaxed. You're feeling deeply relaxed and feeling that your stress is melting away as the water hits your body and slowly come down to your head, to your neck, to your shoulders, to your arms, to your chest, to your tummy, to your legs, to your feet. Keep breathing. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Keep breathing through. 4, 3, 2, 1. I want you to go back to connecting to your body, as if you're breathing through a little ball of light through your nose, and this little ball is coming all the way down to your tummy. And I want you to ask yourself, who have you become as a result of this incident? Who have you become as a result of your pain? Think about all the lessons you've learned, or you have realized, discovered, understood. Think about the changes you have gone through as a person. Did you get stronger, more resilient? Did you get more driven? Did you become a better mother, father, sister, brother, son, daughter, friend? Remember, we're looking to praise us here. We are looking to celebrate and acknowledge all the positive changes we implemented in our lives as a result of going through this challenge. Take a deep breath in. And I want you to open your heart. Open your heart and feel gratitude for the person you have become. The lessons you have learned. And all the positive things that has come to your life as a result of this. Let it sink in all the way down into your cells. Let your body, your physical body, acknowledge that. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Slowly, we're going to come back to our environment. And we're going to carry with us this gratitude and this positive feeling that we have created inside us. Place your both hands onto your heart. And namaste. How did you guys go? I would love to hear on the chat. if you, how did you go? Did you get connected to some positive things that has happened in your life as a result of that? Did you get connected with the person who you have become as a result of going through that? How did it go? We're spending a week together, but this only works if you guys are really, truly throwing yourselves as those exercises. I'm trying to make you feel your way through forgiveness. It's really getting our bodies, like helping us to go through this experience. I'd love to hear. Oh, that's awesome, David. Thank you so much for saying that. That means the world to me. Very powerful. So David says, very powerful to remember the positive things. It is. We need to remind ourselves all the positive things that has happened in our lives as a result of that. So guys, the homework is to keep, writing down on your journal, the positive things that you can think about it, until tomorrow, that it came as a result of that. The person you have become, what are the qualities that you have now that you wouldn't have had if you hadn't gone through that. So guys, tomorrow it's day 3. And day 3 is when we find compassion to the other person or compassion to ourselves. I love you guys to come live. It's going to be a very powerful day as well. But it's, as part of this process, and I went through this myself, and it was a massive part of my healing and my forgiveness journey once I found compassion to every single person in my family. And I'm going to teach you how you can tap into that. So keep doing the work. You guys are doing an amazing job. If you think that you have anybody that should be in this group, let me know. I believe that you can invite them as well. But I can always send them the link, or you can send them the link. Invite people, guys. We need so much forgiveness in this world. Forgiveness is really, like I said, is that ripple effect that it will really start impacting every area of your life. Thank you so much for being here live. Oh, that's awesome, Debbie. That's beautiful. I'm really, really proud of you for being here and for doing all this work. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. Don't forget, you have taken already the biggest step, which is deciding to forgive. You have made that decision already, and that's going to start opening up the doors for the universe, for life, or for the higher source, for whatever you believe. And things are going to start to unfold in a way that you never thought it would. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Namaste.